Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Eric Pincus just released some information or a trade scenario in regards to the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns that he think could be something that the Dallas Mavericks may be interested in doing specifically. He would be sending DeAndre Ayton to Dallas for the number 10 pick, Josh Green, JaVale McGee, Tim Hardaway Jr. as well. And I'm saying to myself, okay, if I'm re-signing Kyrie Irving, I definitely need that piece in place. I need somebody center to be in place so that Luka, Kyrie, and Ayton can kind of make a real trio that gives you enough size in the paint, which is ultimately the biggest problem for the Dallas Mavericks. So for me, that may be worth it if I believe in Ayton. That package may be worth it to fill that void at center for me. If it ain't Ayton, maybe somebody else. But I need to find somebody to come to Dallas. Now, here's where my head goes with Dallas. If Joel Embiid is on the move, that's who the hell you need to target. That's who the hell you need to target. You bring him to Luka Doncic, and they will both win championships. You best believe they're going to win championships. So it's one of those situations where it's like, that's where my head goes. I'm like, yo, if I'm Dallas, I don't have the trade pieces to get Joel Embiid. I'm probably going to get outbid for him, but I'm definitely going to try to aim higher than DeAndre Ayton. I'm going to aim higher in regards to the center position, especially if Joel could potentially be on the move, which it sounds like he may be. And if he's on the move, I ain't making no moves until I know he ain't coming to me. And I think most teams need to think that way too. Most teams. If any chance that guy is on the move, y'all need to be on top of that. Everybody, basically. Everybody. I can't think of a team that shouldn't be trying to get Joel. Now, all of y'all need to. Even if you already have an MVP, you want to bring him to that. Unless you're, of course, Denver. But just about everybody else, including the Lakers, y'all need to be trying to figure out what's up with Joel Embiid. So that's what I think of that. And as far as Phoenix, yeah, you take that package for Ayton. You take that package and you run. For sure. First of all, JaVale McGee's already been with your organization before. He's probably just a throw-in, probably won't get many minutes, but at least you know you got somebody at the center position that's won championships in multiple places. You got a nice piece there. Of course, Tim Hardaway Jr. gives them yet another scorer who can stretch the floor, get 30 points. You have that on top of KD. You have that on top of Booker. That could be the difference in something special. And then you're talking about Josh Green. I told y'all Josh Green yesterday. I mentioned the Dallas Mavericks. I said Josh Green and Jaden Hardy are two players that should never leave the organization. So that should tell you what I think of Josh Green. Of course you want him if you're Phoenix, especially since you let go of the players that you let go of in the Brooklyn trade. You definitely want Josh Green. And in that 10th overall pick, the Phoenix Suns need every pick they can get. From my understanding, they don't really have any assets because they gave them away in the KD trade. So if they can get 10 back, just in general, they should be willing to do that. And I don't think you're going to get a much better package than that for Ayton because I don't think people really want Ayton like that. I don't think Ayton has really proved himself to be somebody who is of the status that he's being paid to be. I don't think so, man. I've once accused him of being the best conditioned center in the league, but it doesn't translate to him dominating them centers. It doesn't translate to him looking better than most of these guys. And I don't know if that has something to do with the system that he's in based on the fact that they only want to use two players to shoot the ball most of the time. But just in general, he just kind of, you know what I mean? His name is bigger than his play. And that's what it really comes down to. When he was first drafted, he was supposed to be somebody who could stretch the floor, shoot the three, had all types of offensive skills, could be able to get 40 points, 20 rebounds by now. That's just not who he's become. And for me, it's like if I'm Phoenix, maybe if I had a better center in place, maybe that would have been enough so that we wouldn't be a two-man team. Would really just those two as the offense. He should have been very much, if he was drafted to be who he was supposed to be, he should have helped KD and Booker by averaging 30 points in the series himself. And that would have made them good enough to be who they need to be. Because he wasn't good enough to be who he was supposed to be, they weren't good enough in my humble opinion. So yeah, you got to move on from Ayton. You got to move on from Ayton, you got to move on from CP3. And if you're not doing that, you're doing something wrong if you're Dallas, if you're Phoenix, rather. So these are the two things I think the Phoenix Suns should be considering right now. CP3 should, thank you, getting that freedom, that cap space freed up. You know what I mean? And that's how that got to be. I don't care if I'm stretching him. He gone. I kid you not. I'm going to want that cap space to bring to Booker and KD. And then, of course, we're moving Ayton. Cool. Because my thing is, the only thing Phoenix really need to be doing right now is stripping everything down to just KD and Booker and Okogie. Those are only three players I really need on the team. Everybody else is up in the air. You know, assess them case by case, but most of them could probably shake. like right now, because what you want to do is just put yourself in a position to have a contending team with KD and Booker, and you ain't gonna do that with the stuff you got right now, Phoenix. That ain't happening. So I would do a glorified blow up around those two, which technically ain't really a blow up. It's a retooling, but it really is a blow up because I'm literally stripping it down to just those 3 players with Okogie as well. Everything else is out, basically. It's out, and I'm reimagining it. And they're gonna go into the season with a brand new team, with players that are of like 26, 27 age, just like the Lakers did. And then we're going to intend to keep that continuity over the course of 3 years. That's how you do that with Phoenix. You strip all this crap down right now, and you build something right now that you plan on keeping for 3 years. Anything else, not doing it right. So that's what I think of Phoenix. If they're really kicking the can on trading Ayton, I think it's the best thing for them. I really do, depending on what they bring back. And if they can pull off a trade like that with Dallas, that's definitely a good thing to do. You do that for Phoenix. And if you're Dallas, like I said, I don't have a problem bringing in Ayton because I think he feels a need. You don't need him to be that much better than he actually is, really, to get you where you're going, because you want Luka and Kyrie to be a focal point of what you're doing. So they're going to need the ball a bunch of times, sort of like Booker and KD. But again, same dynamic. If he ain't giving them more when it matters most, and if he's just hovering around 15 points, 10 boards, trotting, kind of not so happy, then you're going to want to trade him just as quick as you got him. And it may not be as easy to do. So, luckily enough for Ayton, like I said, he's a good condition player. You don't expect injury concerns, so that really works in your favor with him. But if I'm Dallas, I'm like, look, are we sure Joel ain't available? Are we sure Joel is not going to become available? Because if I'm filling my center position with Luka Doncic, I'm going to bring him the best. I'm not bringing him, we bringing him the best because we want him here for the rest of his career, and we want him to believe he should stay here for the rest of his career. And if I bring him a talent like Joel, they're going to both want that. They're going to both want to be there. They're going to both be happy. Joel's going to take the Dallas real easy. He's going to be wearing a cowboy hat in no time. His personality and that big state, they go together. Joel and Texas go together. So I can see him ending up in Houston, since a lot of talk between Philly and Houston have been going on. I can see him ending up there. I don't see them matching up Wembanyama and him. That don't make no sense, San Antonio. But I'm telling you, something about Joel and Texas just feel right to me. He has a big personality. Everything's bigger in Texas. He's the biggest dude out there. Like I said, they just got Wembanyama. You got the Houston Rockets factor, where they always had centers. Yao Ming, Olajuwon, Sampson, Joel. Like, these are things like, yo, if I'm thinking properly, the Houston Rockets are trying to make a trade with the Philadelphia 76ers to get James Harden. That is backwards. You don't want him. You want Joel. That's who you want for them. You don't want none of that other stuff. Now, granted, they do have Alperen Sengun in place, and I could argue I want to keep Alperen Sengun above a lot of things. So I would probably try to keep him in place and make him the 4. I ain't moving Sengun. I might move Smith. I probably ain't moving Sengun. So that don't really make as much sense. But nevertheless, if I'm Joel Embiid, my Philly days are not looking as strong. I'm tired of Philly if I'm Joel. Not the city or the fans and the like, but I'm tired of how this is going. They doing stuff that don't make no damn sense. They want to turn the keys over to James Harden. They traded away Jimmy Butler. A bunch of stuff that don't make no sense. It's time to get the hell out of there. Honestly, it's time for Joel to get the hell out of there. And I think Texas is probably a very good spot for him. If he finds himself in Dallas with Luka, he'll win a ring there. If he finds himself in Houston, they'll be strong there. So that's what I see there. I think Joel should be looking Texas or somewhere else, Miami, something like that. Just replace Bam or something. He should get the hell out of there. So that's what I think, man. Even though this was an Ayton video, Ayton is like the consolation prize for me. After I'm certain I can't get Joel ain't on the block. I ain't making no moves for Ayton. So I know I can't get Joe. My name is BDL44. I'll thank you all for watching.